Hello and welcome back to the Critically Clueless. I'm the Monk, and today we are in Empire of Sin, and today's video is a combat tips and tricks video. Hopefully I can show you a few of the things that I do and I use within my combat and my playthroughs. If you've never watched one of my walkthroughs, then hopefully you can see a few of the things that I do. Obviously a new update has just hit. We've got Precincts update hit, and with that the game difficulty is slightly higher, especially on boss difficulty. You can really be punished for a few of your actions. So I'm going to go over a few tips and tricks. Hopefully there's something here to help everyone. It's going to be for beginners and hopefully for the later game players as well. If you have a tip, trick, or just something that I didn't include in this video, then feel free to comment down below for everyone to have a little look-see at. And of course, at the moment, there is 90% of all viewers not actually currently subscribed to the channel. So if you're interested in Empire of Sin and want to see more content on that, then hit that subscribe button. And of course, comment your thoughts down below. So here we go. We are talking all things combat related. And my first thing I'm going to say to you guys is pretty simple really, but that is fully kit out your gangster or your boss. Now, you have 3 different weapons that you can bring into any battle. You have your main weapon, your sidearm, and your melee. Now, melees now are 100% hit chance. The sidearm can be used as a 1 AP, meaning that you can actually heal or do other things off that. And then of course you've got your main hitting gun, whatever it is that you're actually deciding that your character should be using. At the end of the day, being versatile in combat is very, very important, and you never really know what you're fully going to need in a battle, because especially if you attack a depot these days, there are multiple enemies coming in. Sometimes you need that AP to do something else with, so having options is always a good idea. Tip number 2 in this video is going to be every boss has a boss ability, and my advice to you is to enter combat knowingly. In other words, knowing that your boss ability is fully charged going into battle, so that way you are ready to use it. You don't have to charge it up within the battle in order to use. Of course, all boss abilities now only call for 3 kills in order for it to recharge, meaning you can use it multiple times in a battle. So don't be afraid to use it at the beginning of your battle. Some boss abilities are of course a lot more useful than others, but every single boss ability within this game is going to be useful for you, so make sure you actually actively use it. Tip number 3 is to make sure that you have actually got meds equipped to your character. So many times I have gone into battle forgetting to equip meds and desperately needing them. On top of that, there are special meds and medicine that you can use as well, like painkillers or adrenaline shot. Now, adrenaline shot will temporarily gain you 1 AP, but after that you will have a reduced AP for 2 rounds. But my favorite is the painkillers, which temporarily reduces the amount of damage taken by 100% for 2 rounds. And trinkets, guys, are now a thing. You can now equip trinkets that instead of having to choose between armor and trinkets, the trinket slot is now available, and there are some really good trinkets within the game, like for instance the combat training manual, which gives you a +10 to marksmanship, leadership, and intimidation. Me personally, I use it for the marksmanship. Tip number 4 is all about your gangsters. Now, you're going to be going into combat a lot within this game, and so it helps to pay attention to the traits that your gangsters have. Some gangsters have passive abilities that will help you out during combat, like for instance Cristiano, who has shoot first. So when you go into combat, here have a field, a red field all around him. any AI within that field will get shot straight away. On top of that, he also has hair trigger, and so when one of your friends or himself goes below a certain HP, you will basically go into berserk mode, killing and shooting and using your AP to do damage to the enemy. Now, it still works absolutely amazingly. Of course, you can't actually control what they do during hair trigger, but in my opinion, hair trigger is still absolutely amazing and just devastates the battlefield sometimes. Just be aware that when they do go into hair trigger mode, they can do anything you would actually be able to do. So if they have medicine equipped, for instance, they could choose to heal up. If they've got grenades, they could use that. Or of course, they could switch weapons and do whatever it is that you would be able to do with that character. And unfortunately, more often than not, when you do actually get back control of them, you will be forced to reload that gun. So instead of reloading, just make sure you've got multiple weapons to use. Tip number 5 is don't neglect pistols. Pistols are very powerful within this game right now, and melee is equally just as powerful. So remember, you can use your gun to use one AP, and then you can still use your melee move right now too. Now, you can only melee someone as far as you could walk using one AP, but it's very, very valuable, and you can quite often do a hell of a lot of damage. Of course, if you use melee, that will end your turn, but using one shot on your pistol does not end your turn. You could also use the Con Artist Knife Throw as well. That only consumes one AP, and then of course you can use melee attack after that. Personally, at the moment, I absolutely love the melee and pistol combo. Either having characters that use pistol solely or running a character that you know you're going to 90% of the time get melee kills with just seems to work so well within the game at the moment. They really are very, very powerful. And on a note on pistols, just remember they can actually attack 2 different targets. It's why I like choosing Diana, it's why I like choosing Dottie. Their pistols are very overpowered. They seem to have a high crit chance, and because of that, normally means I get to finish off 2 injured opponents using the one character, which is quite nice, especially in the depot battles, because we are fighting quite often a lot of troops. I think the biggest battle I've had is 8 standard troops plus 12 coming in as reinforcements. So being able to finish off 2 opponents in one round is very, very helpful. And tip number 6, in my opinion, Overwatch is now finally back in the game. So before Precinct Update, I never used Overwatch, ever. However, now, especially with reinforcements when attacking depots or when attacking safe houses, you know troops are going to come in. So you can set up Overwatch as kind of a trap where you know troops are coming in and you can deny them that area. So Overwatch is back in a big way in Empire Sin, in my opinion. And with that, so are the fixes. As in, they've come into the game now, and now they also have abilities to trap certain areas. The poison crow feet being one of my favorites. When an enemy walks in on them or walks into them, they get poison there for the next round they take their turn. They are suffering poison damage, which is a 15 tick. And fixers also have something called a booby trap, which kind of works as a landmine as well. These are very, very good. However, if you've got a fixer, I completely understand if you choose piercing round instead, but the booby traps really do work in a good way. And that is it, guys. They are my 6 main points that I wanted to talk about today. I think I actually went over a few more than the 6, but they're my top combat tips. Hopefully you learned something. Maybe these are things you already know. Maybe you have a tip that maybe I didn't already tell you. I'm not going to tell you things like stay into cover, because that is obviously a given. And plus, if you've seen any of my walkthroughs, you'll know that I never stay in cover, so I can't exactly tell you guys that. But I've been a monk, and we've been Critically Clueless, and for anything Empire Sin, you know where to come. And until next time, happy gaming.